My name's Steve. I am the founder of a quirky little social enterprise called Gone Buggo. It's a multi-platform environmental education initiative. Basically, it's just an environmental education thing, and the whole business is built around photos of Lego, which is, as weird as it sounds, but it's not like I planned it that way. Essentially, 5 years ago, I took this photo, and at the time, I was really just trying to show how small a newborn death adder is. But I didn't put a lot of effort into the photo itself, but what I did find was as I showed people this photo, they really responded to looking at wildlife this way. So I kind of got a bit carried away with photographing animals on Lego, and it just got a little more elaborate every time, a little more out of hand. And as difficult as these photos can be to get sometimes, it's turned into this whole obsession, art, hobby thing. So I got really carried away with storytelling and stuff like that. But after a few years of doing this, I got encouraged to put it onto social media. So I did, I went out there, put it on social media and used it as an opportunity to bring some education into it. Because a lot of the things I photograph, I mean, not stuff like this, but a lot of the things that I photograph are things I didn't know anything about. So once I've taken a photograph, I get to learn about it. And then I started using that education to share with other people. But what I did end up having with this was a problem where I had too much information and not enough social media. You know, I learnt so many amazing things that I wanted to share with people that just putting it on socials didn't really do the job. Natural sciences, nature itself, outstandingly amazing, and it needed more showcasing. So I ended up putting all my social media stuff into classroom sessions for schools, and I go into classrooms, go into schools, go into teak, up in the tablelands there, and talk to kids about wildlife and why it matters and all of that. But I found I didn't feel like I was making enough of a difference. I mean, it's great to talk to a class of kids and have an impact, but I wanted to do more, so I ended up writing and publishing my own children's books. I did a TEDx talk. I just toured a 90-minute show through 4 states of Australia last year. I've kind of gone and done a bunch of things. The show specifically, let me explain, was massive because having an opportunity, especially in a theatre setting, to share my art, my passion, my photos, these animals and all of this with people around Australia was really, really huge. One of the things that matters to me a lot with this is trying to sort of, correct a lot of misconceptions that seem to be doing us harm. One of the ones that really gets me going is survival of the fittest. A lot of people especially seem to think that survival of the fittest just means that only the strong survive and they deserve to survive and that's how it works, which is actually not at all how it's supposed to be construed. You know, strength and Darwin's fitness are actually very, very different things. So to easily put it into an example in my sort of terms, this is what I mean, right? This ant here, that there is a flower ant, tiny little ant, not a big ant at all, right? You know how big a Lego person is, that thing there, minuscule. And flower ants are one of the most widespread invasive ants on the planet. Nobody knows what they are, nobody knows about them, but they are one of the most problematic invasive ants on Earth right now, and most people haven't heard of them. They travel well, they colonize new areas easily, they have the ability to sort of adapt and overcome pretty much everything just prodigiously. And nobody seems to think they're a big deal because they don't affect us directly. But these tiny little ants, they eat insect eggs. And in doing so, they have the ability to overwhelm entire ecosystems, reshape entire ecosystems by eating out all of the other critical functionaries in an area, your biocyclers, your pollinators, your seed distributors. Just in pursuing their own selfish needs, these ants have the ability to wipe out almost everything in an area. And they are deeply entrenched in this country already. By contrast, of course, this is your friendly neighbourhood green ant. And you would know them, right, because they are everywhere also. Green ants, common in Southeast Australasia, travel really well, colonise new areas really well, and they do spread and become quite populous. And in their aggressive behaviour, they also have the ability to reshape ecosystems, but they are not considered to be an invasive pest in any way, shape or form anywhere. Even though they have this ability to become profuse and aggressive and dominate an environment, they're generally touted as keystone predators. These guys here, they actually, through reciprocal relationships, cooperation with other species and collaboration with other organisms, have the ability to sort of control and stabilize plant and pollinator relationships. So essentially, you've got two tiny little ants. They both have the ability to reshape the world around them dramatically, but your strong one wipes everything out, absolute devastation, just from an ant and nothing more. Whereas your fit one has the ability to stabilize and harmonize an entire ecosystem and make everything function better. And that message, that idea, and to be able to sort of simplify that and put that on stages around the country is a huge thing for me, a big personal thing for me, because before the Lego stuff, I've been in tourism now up in Port Douglas for over 10 years. I work on the reef, I work in the rainforest, and I've been doing that for a long time, very passionate about it, but it does mean that it has been my job to try and stay positive as the largest reef system on the planet has bleached and starved and struggled repeatedly, while the oldest rainforest on our earth has dried and withered and changed more and possibly faster than ever before, on this planet. And to have to watch those things daily and grit your teeth and pretend it's okay for people is hard. I have struggled with anxiety, climate anxiety, fear of the future, despair for my daughter. Shouldn't have had a kid. Terrible idea. And so it's really overwhelming sometimes. And one of the things that sort of struck me out of my own journey was I'm a storyteller. It's what I do with my photos, with my tours. I am a storyteller. And I know that every good story has a bad bit. Every good story has a bad bit. Every hero's quest has one long, dark night of the soul where everything seems absolutely hopeless, where failure is pretty much guaranteed. And those moments are the ones that define our heroes. It's those moments when all hope is lost, when the risks are huge, when the odds are definitely out of favour and hopelessness reigns supreme. Those are the moments when our heroes get up and try again, And so it's been a big mission for me to sort of try and show people what there is to fight for, what's still out there, and get people inspired, because one of the big things is that climate scientists, ecologists, they all agree, they keep saying this, hope is not lost. Everything that is on this planet today is still here to fight for. Everything we have right now is ours to save. And that is something that I think people need to be reminded of, is that time is running out. As you guys know, we're all aware of this, time is definitely running out, and we are going to have to work together to change this situation. And that is something that matters deeply to everyone, because I think we forget humans and ants, we're really similar, right? We have already proven as a species that we have the ability to reshape the entire planet with disastrous consequences, especially if our leaders choose to pursue their own selfish needs. We can change the world, and we have. And for us, it's easy to feel alone and powerless and overwhelmed with this. But what I think we forget is that together we can do anything. Is that unlike ants, humans have the power to weigh our decisions. We have the power to think about their outcomes and the repercussions of those things, and to meet our own needs without destroying everything around us. We are very unique in that regard, and right now we sit at a time when we have the ability to do that more and better than ever before. And your voice and your decisions as a consumer and your vote don't just decide our future, but define the fate of most life on Earth, And that, I think, that's a story everybody needs to hear, because the future, it truly is literally in our hands. And that, that's a power we need to use wisely. So keep that in mind. Thank you very much.